I could have answered that one. I got that one right.
Well, Carrie Jo, on behalf of the board, and they may have something to say too, but we just want you to know how proud we are of you, and that story is wonderful. I know your sister is also part of the team, and not to not acknowledge her and all of your other classmates that compete with you, but your score was something special, and we want to acknowledge you in that, and acknowledge your achievement, and we look forward to hearing yet more good things when it comes to academic competition over the years with you here at Florence County Schools. Does your coach or your mom and dad and your principal have anything they want to add to that?
I do want to footnote what we talked about there. Now, her 50 was the only 50 in the state this year.
This year, okay.
At the district level. Then she went on to region, and at region she was #1 in the region, and she scored a 45.
Wonderful.
So the next day we researched that. That was the highest score in the state on that test as well.
Well, I think Mom and Dad should stand up too.
10-year certification, and then after 10 years you can renew by going through another process, which I'm not really sure how that works, but it's a smaller process. And so it was very challenging because I was doing that as well as working on my master's, so I was juggling both of those things last year.
And of course, Ms. Rife is a fifth grade teacher at the Louisiana East Elementary. And again, Andre, we just want to congratulate you and publicly acknowledge your work and your accomplishment. And again, the board may have to say that just how proud we are of you. And as I've shared with several other teachers that have asked about the National Board Certification,
I've had
you
several.
can see that you set the bar not only for today, but for future teachers years down the road, that as we continue to cultivate NEC certified or NEC teachers here in North County, we'll say, and Ms. Rife was one of her own, and she was the first. So congratulations. I'll also just acknowledge that we do have another teacher who is also National Board certified, Ms. Landy, a science teacher at Fallsburg, but she earned her initial certification while she was teaching in Elliott County, right? But we do want to acknowledge her also as being National Board certified here in our faculty and staff. Right. In conversation with the Department of Education already, we feel confident and comfortable that just without any other action by the commissioner or anything, that we can make up 5 days. We can add 5 days back to the calendar. Already, we can request 3 days just automatically. That's just part of the laws that are already there. We can, we'll probably ask the board when we actually get around to modifying the calendar that we go to school on the day that we had scheduled as a day-to-day in the spring, that we have attendance on that day. And if you look at the calendar, we will be most likely in school on what would usually be May 26th, Memorial Day, and we would ask that we attend school on that day. So we have 5 days that we can amend really with little to no problem, and that would move the calendar back then to June the 10th, potentially. Now you may have seen in the media, you may have read in your KSBA news updates, whatever, that the Department of Education already has a couple sponsors in the House and the Senate to push forward a bill that would give the commissioner the prerogative to grant school districts up to 10 disaster days beyond the 20 days already missed. And those again would have to be approved by the commissioner. That's not in place yet, but the department has committed to doing that. And if we did that, that would move us back to June the 2nd for the last day of school, which is even more user-friendly. And I will just advise you, I've had several people when I've been out and about that have asked about spring break. And my response to them is that when we went back and looked at our minutes for last year, our minutes, when we set the 13-14 calendar, we said that 1 full week of spring break is guaranteed. I've also been told, or people have also shared with me, that they have airplane tickets already for spring break week. They have hotel reservations. We have a couple teams that will be traveling. It's 5 days. If we can get out of school on June the 2nd, I think the spring break week really might come in kind of handy, because if you look at the potential for us now, we're going to be going to school for the next almost 20 weeks nonstop, and that break actually might come in handy just for a little bit of relief there the first week of April. But we don't have it on the agenda tonight. We don't really need to move on it quite yet, because we'd like to wait and see what by this time next month we at least should be through with winter weather, let's hope. And whereas we could then look at a calendar that would be pretty firm, and by then the legislature should have also granted the commissioner the authority to grant the 10 disaster days, and the department will have laid out the process for us to do that also, Mr. C. But we're looking at on our own, perhaps if we didn't miss another day of school, June 10th, with the assistance of the department, we could move that back possibly as early as June 2nd. And that's not doing anything with the spring break days, Mr. C.
I've heard some discussion, and I've also, as a matter of fact, WSIZ TV tonight laid out the possibility for West Virginia schools to go on Saturday. So I don't want to go there yet, but
I would just,
that was on the news.
Yeah, I missed that. I would just add that I was principal at the middle school. Ms. West, you were on the faculty then. I remember, I think, and when we went to school, I don't remember exactly what year it was, but we missed a lot of school. We went 2 Saturdays in a row, and by the time we got around to the second Saturday, it was about ugly.
Disaster.
It was a disaster.